Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
So now we are looking at brainstorming for ideation. How to use brainstorming for ideation is the same technique where you actually sit down even with your friends as a group and try to generate keywords or ideas associated with the problem that you are trying to solve. You now have your rebrief, right? Restatement of the problem, look at it, okay, dissect it, and then try to find solutions to each of those issues that you actually restated in the problem statement. Okay, so techniques are freely storm your brain or your mind to spontaneously generate ideas without any criticism. Generate as many ideas as possible, the more the better. Also think of unusual, unexpected creative ideas. It might sound ridiculous, but don't neglect them. Write it down as one of those ideas. Combine ideas to improve them. Okay, so this is all created with reference to Osborne. Okay, so let's look at steps in brainstorming. Okay, note down the problem statement that you have selected for brainstorming. A clear statement of the problem is recommended, which we've done, and week 8. Brainstorm for associated ideas as keywords or sketches. You can also sketch them. Note this down. You can do it as scribbles or sketches or use post-it notes, or you can use online tools like Miro or Figma. Whatever is convenient, please make use of it. Note down the keywords or sketches randomly and not in any particular order, because you want to cross-relate. You want to combine and you want to make improvements. So, the more random they are, the better suited for these purposes. Do not criticize anybody. All ideas are welcome. All keywords, sketches or ideas should be welcome. Even the unusual ones, even the unexpected ones, even the random ones. Do this until one really runs out of any new keywords or sketches. Greater the number, the more the better. More the variety also. Okay, so example of brainstorming for ideation, stick-it notes. This is toys for children. Okay, you put it around you, okay, and generate as many ideas as possible. Okay, design an engaging play and learn constructive toy for children in the age group of 3 to 6 with features of collaboration, sharing, and storytelling. That's the using sustainable materials. So, this is the problem statement, and these are the ideas that you can generate. I can generate as many ideas as possible. Here there are just 5 of them. The more than this is better. Okay, so let's go to the next section of it, idea sketching. These are simple sketches. These are not great illustrations. These are just sketches to denote your ideation. So, please remember this. Everybody can sketch. Okay, you might not be an artist, but you can sketch. Okay, and this is sketching for the sake of ideation and visualization. Okay, and it is useful to create quick rough sketches of ideas or concepts that you have in your mind. Sketching makes the ideas become visible. Especially after you've done the brainstorming and you found the keywords, it probably is a nice time to actually sketch these as ideas. Idea sketching is where the initial ideas begin to build so that you can envision what you're designing. Sketching is mainly to help explore and explain design ideas, and it's a great asset when you want to discuss with somebody, when you want to get feedback, and you can generate more and more ideas with respect to this. Okay. Can anyone do idea sketching? Good question. Yeah. You might think and hesitate that I am not good at sketching, but it doesn't matter. Idea sketching is a very rough, quick sketch that can be done easily by anyone. Okay, so please remember this, okay, and you try it out. Idea sketching can be easily created using pen and paper on a whiteboard. Keep your sketches fast, rough and dirty, because if it is very clean, you don't feel like improving them. You know, you've taken a lot of effort to do the sketch. So if you can keep it rough and dirty, it means that it actually solicits that you can actually improve it. This helps you worry less on the design aesthetics and focus more on rapid formulation of ideas. Okay, so let's look at some examples of idea sketching. So just to prove that anyone can draw, I have put in idea sketches, which are rough sketches done by scientists, architects, artists, filmmakers, animators, product designers and graphic designers. And you'll see that even some of them great at sketching, but when they did idea sketching, it's just a rough concept. Okay, and you'll see how rough it is, but it's great as ideation. What you'll notice is that these sketches are important to show and visualize concept before they're finalized and made. Okay, so let's have a look at them. Okay, so here is an idea sketch by Newton showing a reflecting telephone and its components. Look at his sketch. It kind of explains what the concept he was trying to do, the idea of the telescope before the telescope came into being. Okay, and that's the actual photograph of the prototype of the first reflecting telescope. You can see that has been converted into reality, but as an ideation that served very well, because it actually explained the concepts through which the telescope works and the construction of it. Let's look at Edison. He's the one who invented the light bulb, right? And this is his first sketch of what a light bulb could look like, and the first prototype of the first bulb, you know, which is very close to what he looked. But if you look at his sketches, they are very rough. You know, the art teacher might say, you know, Thomas didn't know how to actually draw, but it was good enough because he's actually sketching an idea which has to be rough, right? Yeah, so let's look at some more. These are sketches by architects. This is by our famous architect B.V. Doshi. It's the design of the Hussein Doshi Guha, okay, which is underground, and part of it is you can see it above the ground, and you can look at his rough sketches, which are basically ideation for this. Let's look at another one. This is again by a very famous architect, Frank Lloyd Wright, and he does this beautiful building over at river, and he doesn't spoil anything of the environment. It's almost like the building kind of envelops the environment, okay, and this is the idea sketch that he did before the building was actually, or the house was built. Okay, let's look at some artists. Okay, you know how talented Leonardo da Vinci was, okay, and you can see his rough sketch of Mona Lisa before he actually painted Mona Lisa. You know, so these are rough sketches to just to get his ideas right. Yeah, and you can see Picasso here. You know, he's very famous for drawing bulls and yeah, and using abstraction to do it. And those are the abstract sketches that he did. Yeah, and you can see how rough and, you know, important for him it was to do the sketches, because sketching gives you ways of actually transforming the image. Yeah, this is sketches by two very well known artists. Okay, let's look at filmmakers. Satyajit Ray. Of course, he was a talented graphic designer and an artist. He could draw very well. But if you look at his sketches, right, which are very much part of the film which he finally made, and this created the storyboard, because you could actually look at the storyboard and decide how the camera should come, how the actors should come in, you know, what kind of mood and the environment it should create, and what kind of composition it would make. Okay, so these are rough sketches again to do this, and here you can see George Lucas, you know, storyboard for the film Star Wars. And you can see that they're all rough sketches, you know. And if you've watched Star Wars, you'll know that how close to the sketches the final film is. Okay, let's look at some animation films. Animation, of course, is rooted in you being able to draw. But at the initial stage, it's just a sketch, it's an idea. Oh, so this is, sketching ideation for a character of a baby. Okay, and here you can see sketches for the movie Batman being done. Batman, the movie got created from comics, and comics were drawings, and these are sketches which are meant as the storyboard for the movie. Okay, so just showing different things. So these are by product designer. Again, Ross Lovegrove is a very famous designer, and these are his doodlings for the final design of the water bottle he did, and he's capturing the essence of the expression of water here, and he finally was able to reflect it in the final design of it. Okay, and again, Charles Eames is again a very famous designer. He's the one who did the India report, and through which the design institutes in our country got set up. His very rapid sketches for the final design of chairs, these are known as Eames chairs. Yeah, and you can see how rough the sketch is, so it's just to give an ideation. Okay, so again, showing you some rough idea sketches by graphic designers. Milton Glaser, he's iconic. I love New York, but you just see what it was before. He had sketched it on a piece of paper, and that's a sketch, and this is the final output of that. Okay, or again, Paul Rand, he was asked by Steve Jobs when he started the company Next. He was asked to design its logo, and this is what his trial sketches were, and the final version is up there for you to see. Okay, so the sketching for ideation is usually rough. It's supposed to tell you how to do or modify things, so you can take it like this. So the ideation for the toy, problem statement that we had talked about, now you can see that with each of the ideas you actually sketched it out. Okay, and you can look at them. So the sketching makes it a lot more nicer. Yeah, and suddenly your ideas become visible to you, right? So that's the big advantage of it. So idea sketching for ideation is a very important task, and remember, all of you can do it. So try it out. Just after your brainstorming, please try to sketch your ideas and visualize them. Okay, from here we'll move on to SCAMPER for ideation. As I mentioned before, SCAMPER is an acronym, suggests 7 creativity techniques, suggested by Bob Eberle. S for substitute, C for combine, A for adopt, M for modify, P for put to another use, E for eliminate unnecessary things, remove something, R for reverse. So it involves making use of these creativity techniques to further improve your idea sketches and come out with more ideas. Okay, so we've made an example of it. Again, we've taken a simple toy. That's the toy. Now you substitute parts of this idea with another idea. So this, the sphere has become a cube here, the body has become an ellipse here. Okay, so you got different parts doing it. Combine an idea with another idea. So one wheel has become several wheels, one hand has become several hands, the shape of the body has been changed. So that is something which they've adopted from a puppet, right? And you got to combine an idea with another idea. Let's look at the third one, adopt. Adopt features of another idea from another idea. Okay, so you have this toy which has got a sphere at the bottom and a man on top of it. Now suddenly you add a tail to it and you add a string to it, and it will be a great exercise for you to balance the man and pull him along where you walk, right? Yeah. Modify, instead of one wheel you think of 2 wheels, which makes it much more stable. put to another use. Okay, instead of a wheel, put a boat so the man can actually be pulled on water. He can float on water, right? And eliminate some of the parts. Okay, why do you need the hands? Maybe they can be folded and made it simple. Instead of a rectangle, let's make it into a square. So if you look at it, the object has got very simplified by eliminating parts of the idea to make it more efficient. Sometimes you can reverse them. So here actually it's immersed. So the bottom becomes the top and the top becomes the bottom. Yeah, again it looks like it's not the same toy anymore, it's a new toy that you've got here. Okay, very simple. If you look at it, the first was substitution, the second was combining with another idea, third was adopting features from another one into it. M is modify, you modify it to make it better. Then you looked at putting it to another use. So instead of ground, you thought of water here. Okay, eliminates unnecessary or unusual parts. You made it simpler, and then you reversed an idea. Okay, and suddenly you got another idea over there. Okay, SCAMPER, extremely simple methods, 7 techniques to be creative and come out with many more ideas. Okay, so this is the last technique in this particular section, part 1 of ideation. Lateral thinking was thought of by Edward de Bono. He coined this word lateral thinking as a way of creative thinking. He believed that creativity thinking skills can be learned and improved over a period of time. This holds good for anyone. Okay, and that's a very important statement. The need to be right at all the time is the biggest bar to new ideas. People who know it think they know everything. They also become very adamant and they are not willing to budge. There's another way of doing it. So he says it is better to have enough ideas for some of them to be wrong, because then to be always right by having no ideas at all. Okay, so that's a very profound statement he makes. Instead of linear or vertical thinking, that means you're digging the same hole deeper at the same place, which typically relies on logic, okay, linearity. Lateral thinking is the deliberate systematic process of using your ability to think in a different way. That means that you kind of think horizontally, you try to explore new areas. Okay, so that's a big difference between the two. I have demonstrated here. Instead of digging the same hole deeper and wider to find a new solution, it's better to look for new or different solution by digging unique holes in different locations. The possibility of creating alternate ideas or variations is much more. So the vertical one is called as vertical thinking and the horizontal one is called as lateral thinking. Very simple, isn't it? So you need to think of ideation again by laterally thinking of other solutions. So let's come to this question, how many ideas? What is the number? Okay, so the ground rule is that at least come out with 3 different unique ideas. Okay, 1 is not good enough because it will be the same idea. 2 is maybe an improvement on the first idea, but 3 means you have a little more flexibility. Okay, so that's again what we call as the minimum. If you want to be a designer, a dozen is a comfortable number of alternatives, and if you can actually do more than a dozen, that would be great. Okay, so think of the ideas. The more ideas that you have, the more choices that you have to make selections, okay, and create alternatives.